So we see the stat line for Caitlin Clark. She's averaging 21.6 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and then if we go down, she's averaging a block as well. 5 turnovers right now, 43% from the field, 36 from the three. What shooting that is. And then she's doing 72 from the free throw. Definitely want her to get that up. But we see the stats, right? We see the stats. Now, if we go to ESPN, Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found. Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found.
Caitlin Clark is absolutely tearing it up, rewriting the rookie rulebook as we speak. But if you look at the WNBA leaderboards, apparently she's on a permanent vacation. Seriously, no points, no assists, just vibes? Either the league's using some top secret invisible ink for her stats, or someone's got a severe allergic reaction to giving her credit. How do you accidentally forget your most popular player? Spoiler alert, you don't. So buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the hilarious head-scratching saga of how the WNBA and ESPN are trying to ghost Caitlin Clark's stats like a bad ex who owes you money.
Reese remain 2 of the most popular players in the WNBA. However, it's Clark who holds the edge when it comes to viewership and attendance rating. When you say hold the edge, that makes it seem like it's a small margin. No. It's a severe lead. It is a significant gap between the two when it comes to viewership and attendance. Edge, not the best choice of words in this instant. Yet the Women's National Basketball Players Association, the union for current women's professional basketball players in the WNBA, recently decided against Clark. Shocker.
And just when you thought the WNBA leaderboard mystery was wild enough to make your head spin, here comes ESPN showing up with a full-on excavation team ready to bury Caitlin Clark's stats like they're a national security secret. You'd think the worldwide leader in sports could, handle a few numbers, maybe even highlight the fact that the most talked about rookie in years is, absolutely crushing it. But nope, instead they've pulled off the statistical equivalent of turning off all the lights and pretending nobody's home when Caitlin Clark is knocking on the door of greatness, holding a bucket of popcorn and a highlight reel.
She would be right in this area, number 2. And I get it, these players have played more games, cool. But fam, if that is the case, why is Caitlin Clark right here at 3 points made? Why is she right here at 3 points made? If that is the case, she would be completely off of the list, right? She would be gone, wiped off, if it was all about the games. Why is she right here? Right? This looks disingenuous, man. I'm just keeping it a grain. We know who has the most assists right now. You have Paige Beckers up here. We know who has more assists, who's averaging the most assists right now. And you have Paige Beckers right here. Come on, fam. Like, I'm just saying, man. This don't look disingenuous.
Try clicking around ESPN's site and you'll find it quickly turns into a very frustrating game of hide and seek, except it's only Caitlin's numbers doing the hiding, and ESPN is pretending they're just really bad at counting. Want to check the league leaders in assists, scoring, efficiency? Good luck, champ. Caitlin Clark's name is nowhere to be found, lost in the digital ether, unless of course you click on turnovers. Suddenly, boom, there she is, magically appearing like a genie trapped in the oops column. It's like ESPN collectively decided, oh, you want Clark? Yeah, she's over there with the rest of the troublemakers.
To God, that eventually we find out that maybe Caitlin Clark was asked to do this, and maybe she said no. Because if that's not the case, then the WNBA and the Players Association, the WNBA PA, and the league, to be honest, continue to disrespect the far and away biggest draw that this women's hoops league's got that they've ever seen.
Apparently, her actual game-changing stats have been permanently reassigned to the penalty box. Forget the fact that she's absolutely demolishing records, single-handedly elevating a struggling franchise, and dragging defenders around the court like they're toddlers on a leash. According to ESPN's elite squad of math wizards, the only number worth tracking is how many times she's coughed up the ball, not how many dimes she drops, not how many points she drains from another zip code. Nope. Just the TOs, because priorities.
jealousy, and sheer incompetence are going to be the three main reasons why the WNBA never reaches the popularity, never reaches the shine that they think they deserve. Stubbornness, incompetence, and jealousy are going to be the reasons why Caitlin Clark remains at the mountaintop and nobody else ends up even being close to joining her up there. And it's all the WNBA, the players, the executives, Kathy Engelbert. It is all their fault. They're far too jealous. They're far too stubborn. And from a business sense, they are all far too incompetent. What am I talking about?
Darn it, if turnovers are the only stat she's getting airtime for, then someone in the ESPN bunker typed Caitlin Clark into Excel, got completely overwhelmed by her sheer impact, and just smashed the delete key. What's truly wild is these folks have graphics prepped for every NFL player who so much as sneezes near a touchdown. But Caitlin Clark out here dropping double-doubles, lighting up sold-out arenas, and practically carrying the WNBA's entire ratings on her back. Nah, let's just quietly shuffle her into the background like she accidentally wandered into the wrong room during a meeting. The data does exist, mind you. You can find it if you scroll, dig, cross-reference, solve a riddle, and maybe perform a small blood ritual. But front and center, where most casual fans look, Caitlin might as well be a hologram. Meanwhile, players with half the impact and a quarter of the fan base are listed like absolute royalty. This isn't just exclusion, it's selective memory dressed up in a data filter. Honestly, you can't help but laugh at how transparent this whole charade is. ESPN has all the tools in the world. Live stats, AI-powered projections, split-screen analysis, but Caitlin Clark? Nah, her numbers just got lost in the system. What system? A filing cabinet run by trolls. Even the intern uploading box scores seems to have caught the let's pretend she's not real bug. Maybe they're just terrified that if they actually show her stats, the internet might melt under the sheer weight of actual undeniable facts.
Come on, man. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense right here, man. Angel Reese still top dogging in rebounds. And even with Jonquel missed games. She missed some games. And she's still on the list. What's going on? What's going on with this, man? Let me see who else. Boston doing a good job. She's in the top 5. Oh, tied number 4. Okay, I see you. Boston doing a good job. Steals. We got Gabby Williams. Gabby's been going crazy. And the Fee, Asia. And then they got Paige Beckers on there. Fam, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to click complete leaders. Let me see if they don't have Caitlin anywhere, fam.
And the peak irony, her numbers do show up, just not where any sane person would ever expect them. They magically appear if you're nosy enough to check the turnovers tab, which apparently is the only place ESPN believes Caitlin truly belongs. It's like hosting a massive talent show and then assigning Beyonce to clean up duty because someone didn't like her glitter. Oh, sure, they'll happily mention her in passing when it perfectly fits their narrative, but when it's time to stack her up next to her peers statistically, suddenly they're all thumbs. At this point, it's less a statistical oversight and more a full-blown coordinated vanishing act. We're not talking about one clumsy magician here, but a whole team of illusionists making her greatness disappear behind a curtain of manufactured indifference. Oops, we forgot her again. How many times does that excuse fly before it starts sounding like a meticulously planned strategy? And let's talk about those turnovers for a second, because if that's the only stat consistently getting her name on the list, someone has clearly been waiting with bated breath to use it. They've got the Clark turnover count tracker locked and loaded like it's the smoking gun proving she doesn't belong. And yet, every single rookie in the history of basketball turns the ball over. Ever heard of a learning curve? Apparently not if your name is Caitlin Clark. They consistently frame her as some kind of chaotic ball handler, as if she's just randomly chucking the ball out of bounds between logo threes.
That they're giving Caitlin Clark right now to Sabrina Ionescu. Like, let's be real, you can look, if you read what some of these things have said about Sabrina Ionescu before Caitlin Clark walked in the league, but now they have the new bully victim. And it's so funny looking at it where you're like, all these, it's so clear that these people, it's just an anti-Caitlin people, because it's like an enemy of my enemy is my friend, where it's like they are these individual pages where you look at the players they hype up, and Paige Beckers, and by the way, for by all accounts, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark are friends. They'll have their profile's Angel Reese, and the players are going to hype up as Paige Beckers because she is a rival to Caitlin Clark. And let's be real, that's an actual rivalry. Paige Beckers.
Because what they don't say is she's orchestrating an entire offense like a seasoned veteran, all while getting blitzed, bodied, and borderline assaulted every single night. They won't tell you she's leading a team that was basically allergic to winning before she arrived. They won't show the context, the insane pressure, the jaw-dropping playmaking, or the sheer burden of expectation she carries. All they want to show you is a turnover stat as if that's her entire biography. And let's be brutally honest, if turnovers is your only flex, you're not analyzing, you're campaigning. That's not journalism, that's pure, unadulterated shade delivered via spreadsheet. Meanwhile, you've got other players with worse efficiency, lower assist numbers, fewer points, and a whole lot more media silence somehow floating to the very top of ESPN's charts like cream in a rigged coffee machine. They're being praised just for showing up, while Caitlin is essentially being gaslit into believing her 25-point nights were just a fever dream. She's outperforming players twice her age and getting treated like an uninvited guest at her own party, and yet she still shows up, still dishes out dimes, still hits logo shots that would make Steph Curry himself do a double take. She's not just playing, she's actively shaping the league's future. And ESPN, they're over there playing peekaboo with her numbers, acting like they're terrified the truth might actually bite them. Here's a tip, ESPN. If your most watched games consistently feature one player, maybe, just maybe, acknowledge she exists outside of the oopsie category. But it's not just ESPN, is it? This has ripple effects. The biggest sports network sets the tone, and suddenly everyone else starts humming the same tune. Talk shows act confused about the hype, pundits downplay her impact, and just like that, we've got this bizarre, twisted narrative where Caitlin Clark is simultaneously the most talked about athlete in the country and mysteriously not good enough to appear in any positive stat rankings.
I need to sit here and be honest. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for maybe Angel Reese. That is pure honesty. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for Angel Reese. WNBA old guard fans, they know who these ladies are. People who follow the league, they know who these players are. People who are responsible for the increase in viewership, who are responsible for the increase in attendance, they don't know who any of these players are except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Let's be honest here. Except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Paige Beckers, stop. Kelsey Plum, stop. Nafisa Collier, cut it out. Nafisa Collier, great player.
It truly is the most hilariously absurd paradox in modern sports media. Imagine if LeBron's rookie year got this kind of treatment. Oh, we left him off the leaderboard because turnovers. Or Steph Curry. Sure, he hit 9 threes, but did you see that one time he dribbled off his foot? It's lazy, it's calculated, it's cartoonishly biased, and somehow they're calling it coverage. Let's be real, if Caitlin were turning the ball over from the bench, absolutely nobody would care. But she's turning it over while simultaneously scoring, assisting, and dragging her team out of complete irrelevance. She's doing the damn work, and they're only interested in her mistakes. That's not analysis, that's an agenda in high heels. And while ESPN continues to play hide and seek with her undeniable impact, guess what? The fans aren't stupid. They see exactly what's going on. They're watching, they're buying tickets, they're tuning in for her. She's not just a player, she's a full-blown phenomenon. But ESPN would rather act like she's just a footnote in someone else's highlight reel. And the absolute worst part, if she were genuinely underperforming, they'd still talk about her just to dunk on her. She's stuck in this bizarre media Bermuda Triangle, too good to ignore, too threatening to praise. So instead, they conveniently spotlight her in the one stat category designed specifically to undermine her. Turnovers. Like, that's her entire story. Forget the points, the assists, the steals, the game-changing moments. Let's hyper-focus on the handful of plays that didn't work out. Genius. And let's not pretend this is about fairness or journalistic integrity. This is fundamentally about control. Control of the narrative, control of the spotlight, and control over who gets to be the face of the league. ESPN didn't accidentally forget her stats. They buried them. They tagged them under the worst possible category, and then had the audacity to call it balance.
of the craziest stats I've seen yet. And I feel like we say this all the time. Like, wow, this is one of the craziest Caitlin Clark related stats that I've seen. Evergreen. She has played 42 games. She now has the most 25-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. 42 games, most 25 and 10 games in WNBA history. She is tied for the most 20 and 10 games in WNBA history. Courtney Vandersloot has 10. Diana Taurasi had 9. Sloot has played 430 games. Taurasi played 565 games. Again, Caitlin Clark has played 42 games. That is unbelievable.
But even if Caitlin Clark's stat line is getting hidden in plain sight, the undeniable truth isn't. It's screaming from every social media feed, it's written in the record-breaking ratings, and it's plastered across every single sold-out arena she plays in. No amount of digital foot dragging or leaderboard manipulation is going to erase the fact that she's outplaying half the league and carrying a spotlight brighter than ESPN's entire homepage. So let them keep playing games with the numbers. Let them keep pretending that a few turnovers are the real story, because the actual story is unfolding right now, whether they choose to acknowledge it or not. Caitlin Clark is already rewriting the script one deliberately buried stat at a time. And let me tell you, that whole situation is 100% fishy, profoundly suspicious, and downright cartoon villain levels of shady. Because here's the kicker. After ESPN decided Caitlin Clark's stats deserved to live in the digital timeout corner, I personally went to check the assist leaderboard myself, just to verify reality hadn't completely collapsed in on itself. And what did I find? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No Clark, no C, not even a clerk by mistake. I meticulously read through that entire assist list 3 separate times, like I was trying to find Waldo on a crowded page. And guess what? Caitlin was somehow the only person in the entire league who apparently forgot how to pass the ball, which is just laugh out loud hilarious, considering she's out here throwing laser guided assists through heavy traffic like she's got a GPS system embedded in her retinas. The woman's dropping dimes like she's working the Federal Reserve, and ESPN's assist column is sitting there acting like they've never even heard of her. No highlight, no mention, no acknowledgement. It's like they're actively trying to gaslight everyone into believing she's not real, like maybe Caitlin Clark was just a collective hallucination conjured by Nike and the entire state of Indiana.
All right, so we've talked WNBA, we've talked Angel Reese, we've talked all the things that are going on. There's been this back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlin Clark has been injured, so she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%.
Yikes.
Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark.
They're out here acting like she's not even in the league or something, like she's just some summer intern with really nice sneakers who accidentally wandered onto the court and stumbled into a 30-point game. Meanwhile, you've got other players with fewer assists, significantly less game impact, and a highlight reel that consists of one simple layup and a power walk, somehow living comfortably on that exact same list like they're renting prime property. But Caitlin? Nope, she must have tripped over a media embargo and simply vanished. And the list itself wasn't even that long. I wasn't digging through ancient scrolls or combing through obscure European leagues. We're talking about a simple stat page on the biggest sports platform in America, the very same site that can instantly tell you how many passing yards a third-string cornerback has in cold weather during away games. But Caitlin Clark's assist numbers? Sorry, unavailable. Probably caught in traffic. Check back after the league stops holding grudges. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just a case of some poor intern forgetting to update the website. This is a strategic blackout. It's almost as if someone at ESPN collectively decided, you know what, she gets way too much attention already. Let's just not.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever, who looked like a completely different team, as Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the season. Clark made those passes that are just gorgeous dimes. She hit the logo bombs, 3 of them in 38 seconds. The kind of things that just make you make incomprehensible noises. Like, oh! Like you can't control it when you're watching it because
as if giving credit where it's undeniably due would somehow cause the WNBA's fragile hierarchy to completely collapse into anarchy. Heaven forbid the rookie who is clearly leading her team in playmaking actually gets recognized as, well, a playmaker. Can't have that. It simply wouldn't be proper. It's like watching a group project where one person does all the heavy lifting and then the rest of the team tries to vote them off the island for overshadowing the vibe. Caitlyn's out here single-handedly dragging a franchise into mainstream relevance, selling out arenas, and raising viewership numbers by the minute, and yet that assist column is still acting like she's severely allergic to passing. Honestly, the mental gymnastics required to ignore her at this point deserve their own Olympic event. Simone Biles is somewhere taking notes, and this isn't just about one measly stat. This is part of a much larger, more disturbing pattern. Every single time Caitlin Clark does something absolutely incredible, which, to be fair, happens roughly every 8.5 minutes. The mainstream sports machine immediately looks for the one obscure angle they can twist into a negative. She scores 30? Let's talk about that one turnover. She breaks a record? Well, someone set a screen for her. She leads the league in assists. No, she doesn't. Not if you squint hard enough and turn off your Wi-Fi. This isn't coverage. This is outright sabotage delivered with a user interface.
Listen to what one Colin Cowherd had to say on Sunday after that special Saturday night performance. Let's take a look.
Can we talk about the simmering cauldron that is women's basketball right now? No, not the Indiana Fever. I'm talking about the cauldron of executives in the WNBA. Since Caitlin Clark got injured, WNBA ratings have dropped 55%. That's not just the Fever's ratings. It's not just a local dip. That's league-wide. Now, to the suits in the league office, that may be a little eye-opening, but for the rest of us, nah, not really. We're in an attention economy, and Caitlin Clark is the currency. No American athlete right now, male or female, drives clicks, views, or conversation like she does. She's
a once-in-a-generation talent, and let's not forget, the assist stat isn't subjective. It's not like most inspirational warm-up or best bench energy. This is cold, hard data. You either made the pass that led directly to a basket, or you didn't. Caitlin has done that many, many times. Every single game, her passes create their own highlight reels. And yet, here we are, 3 laps around the leaderboard later, and the most famous rookie in America is still nowhere to be found, which naturally begs the question, what in the world are they so afraid of? Are they worried the raw numbers will make their carefully crafted favorite narratives look utterly ridiculous? That putting Caitlin Clark's name right next to veterans in objective statistical categories will somehow pop the delicate media bubble around certain other players? Because let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is doing in mere weeks what others haven't achieved in years. She's making people actually care about the W, but somehow she's the only one who consistently gets left off the report card. Maybe the grand plan is to simply frustrate the fans into silence. Maybe they genuinely believe that if they hide her name long enough, the hype will eventually die down. If they bury her assists, maybe we'll all collectively forget about her impossible court vision, her off-the-charts basketball IQ, or her generational impact. But here's the massive problem with that flawed logic. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan novelty act. This is Caitlin Clark. The basketball community isn't guessing her greatness. They're watching it unfold, live, and in vibrant color every single night. ESPN pretending otherwise just makes them look like that little kid who covers their eyes and childishly thinks they're invisible.
NBA is trying to peg some young guys as face of the league. They had Ant and SGA play in the Western Conference Finals, and it had the lowest rating in 4 years. They're trying. You say, well, the markets are small. Well, Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever. What does that matter? This goes to show that markets do not matter. That's all nonsense. If LeBron James, when LeBron James was in Cleveland, we never said, well, the ratings are great. It's amazing. It's in Cleveland. Stars transcend state lines. Right now, she's the biggest basketball star in the world, not named LeBron and Steph.
It's painfully, glaringly transparent. They'll show you endless clips of the same 3 other players 10 times a day. They'll meticulously break down mediocre plays like they're sacred national monuments. But Caitlin Clark threading passes through an impossible needle between 3 defenders while being triple teamed. That highlight apparently ends up somewhere in the digital recycle bin, right next to your expired ESPN Plus subscription. At this point, it's not even just an omission. It's become a full-blown spectacle. The fans have noticed. The blogs have noticed. Social media is lighting up like a Christmas tree every single time ESPN tries to casually erase her from existence. And yet, they still just pretend it's all just a coincidence. A minor oversight. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. Meanwhile, Clark is racking up assists like she's in a passing simulator, and the leaderboard is looking like she moonlights as a ghost. They can keep hiding the numbers all they want, but the truth is echoing louder than ever before. Every missed highlight, every skipped stat line, every shady omission just adds more fuel to the fire. Caitlin Clark doesn't need ESPN to tell us she's elite. She's already got the receipts, the sold-out stadiums, and the soaring ratings. And whether they like it or not, her name is absolutely not going away. In fact, it's about to get a whole lot harder to ignore.